Wow. I'm still riding the absolute high of having Mario Kart World in my hands. This game, it's glorious. It's just pure, beautiful chaos in the best way possible. I've already sunk an embarrassing number of hours into it, and yet it still feels like I'm barely scratching the surface in some regards. Now, one of my all-time favorite things in any Mario Kart game is the tracks. So today, I'm going to be ranking every single one of them in Mario Kart World right here on the channel. I am seriously loving the tracks in this game. They're all just so creative, they're polished, and they're just packed with so much charm. The retro tracks in particular are a chef's kiss, and in all the little techie tricks you can pull off in some tracks, and just how they connect to the open world, it's just a blast to explore them in so much detail. And again, I'm just loving it so much. For this ranking in particular, I'll be going through them all in the order of the track selection, and then I'll be placing each one into a tier list from S to F. This is based purely on my enjoyment of the tracks, not how technical they are or anything like that, just how much I enjoy them. And honestly, I really like them all to some degree. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because they are still fresh, but hey, I'm just having an absolute blast playing them, and that's what Mario Kart's about. So I want to rank these damn things. Before we get started as well, I am giving away another copy of Mario Kart World on this channel, and I'll be doing that giveaway in 2 weeks, so stay tuned to the community post to see if you're a winner. The only thing that you need to do is be subscribed to the channel, and you also get an extra entry if you're in the Swift Cafe Discord, and also following on Twitter. But that's enough beating my Donkey Kong-like chest. Let's get into ranking all 32 tracks in Mario Kart World. Let's go ahead and start with the Mushroom Cup. I honestly feel like this cup in general is one of the most strongest, earliest cups in any Mario Kart game. And the first track in particular is honestly a really good opening track. It's nothing really that special or technical, but it showcases all the mechanics that you can expect to see in Mario Kart World. There's lots of rail grinding, some elevation, a gliding section which is different from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and overall the theming is really cool. Yes, it is a circuit track, but hey, there's a few nice shortcuts you can do as well, and I really like the one when you start the track in particular, when you just go onto the pipe on the left hand side, grind the rails and try to trick back onto the road. It's really cool. And I love the Arizona desert kind of vibe. It really gives me that Cars type of vibe from the movie as well. Overall, it's a nice track, it is an opening track, but it does do the job. So I'm going to be placing Mario Bros Circuit in the C tier. And that doesn't mean it's bad, by the way. I really enjoy this. Next up, we have Crown City. This is a track that I wasn't really that excited to play before the game actually came out. However, after playing this, I actually really enjoy this. This is a really nice urban city kind of track, and really exploring this in detail in the free roam section is epic. It's got everything that I kind of want from a city track. You start off on the road, then you start going on the buildings in particular, which is really cool to rail grind and just get some speed. And there's also an element of danger as well if you do fall off because there's no rails, which is something I really appreciate. There's not too many techie shortcuts you can do in this track in particular, but I really just like the fact that you actually go up on top of the buildings and then jump straight back down and get that real nice elevation change. And the gliding section at the end, although it's just a straightaway, there's a few different paths you can take kind of by going on rails or going under the bridge or over the bridge. It's just overall a pretty cool track. It's not going to make me buy Mario Kart World just for this track in particular, but hey, it's pretty good and I'm going to be putting it in the B tier. Then we have Whistlestop Summit. This is the track that I was very excited to play before the game launched, and honestly, the more I've played it, it's actually just gotten better in my eyes. The first time I played it, I kind of thought to myself, all I'm doing is grinding on rails, but as I've gotten a little bit better at the game as well, there's a lot of cool shortcuts you can pull off. Just like jumping on the wall in the middle of the track essentially, and then bypassing a nice chunk of the course. I also love the theming of this track as well, almost kind of feeling like it's a mixture of Merry Mountain, which I really loved, and also Calamari Desert. And I love how the train comes in as well, just as an obstacle. It's really cool. And then grinding from all the rails to the other rails, and then everything you basically grind on this track, it's dope. And there's also a nice gap jump in the middle you can do as well with the train. But I just feel like this track really has a nice element of danger, has some nice shortcuts you can do, and it's pretty technical as well, and I just love the theming. So this track for me is actually going to go in the A tier, which I probably wouldn't have done if I only played it once and then ranked these tracks. But like I said, it just gets better as you play it. The last track in particular is a really cool one. Again, I think every single person that loved Nintendo and just the Mario universe in general was pretty damn excited for this one. I'm of course talking about DK Spaceport. This is essentially just the original Donkey Kong arcade game in a Mario Kart track. What isn't there to love? And this course also realistically shows off every single element in this game that you can do. It's got rail grinding, it's got wall riding, it's got a few nice little shortcuts you can do, jumping, glider sections. It's essentially got it all. And I haven't even mentioned the fact that it's got a giant robotic DK as well. The theming of this course has absolutely nailed it. I really love when it's set at night time in particular, and you can see all the lights and it's raining. It just feels so atmospheric. I also like the few small nods in here as well to the original Donkey Kong game, just like a little 8-bit Donkey Kong on the wall, and just essentially exactly how the game played out. Donkey Kong throwing barrels at you, and just all that really cool stuff. To drive the track as well feels pretty damn good. There's a few nice shortcuts you can take and gap jumps. The only thing that kind of lets this down for me is it can feel a little repetitive with every single section being the same. Again, I get what they were going for here, but it would have even been cooler if it was like Excite Bike Arena as well, where it just changed every few times you played it. This track can be pretty chaotic in the middle, however, I really do like it, and just the finishing of this entire course is really cool, where you go up the very top where the rocket launch is happening, and it just looks awesome. I really can't complain about this track at all. For my personal enjoyment for this track, I'm actually going to be putting it in the B tier. Again, I really do like this. The only thing that's kind of letting it down for me is how repetitive it can feel at times. You essentially drive this course the exact same way every time, and hope to not get hit by too many items. But overall, it's a damn good track. And that wraps up the Mushroom Cup. Now let's go ahead and move on to the Flower Cup, which essentially is just a retro cup for the game. And it's a pretty good one of that as well. Starting off, we have Desert Hills. First off, this is the best this track has ever looked, and in my opinion as well, probably the best it's ever played as well. I really love the updates that it's done to this track in particular. It essentially feels like it's just Super Mario Land just reskinned. It honestly has massive Sarasque Land vibes, and I'm all for it. I love the Tokudokus and also the Battledons that are now featured in the course as well. It just adds an element that just wasn't there in the original. It makes it a little bit more chaotic, and I'm all for it. There's also a few nice little shortcuts you can do on the track as well, but it's nothing too technical. The Oasis section as well is really beautiful, and I love how you can just cut through all the water now too, which is really nice. In my personal opinion, they really nailed Desert Hills, and as I said at the start, it's the best it's ever looked and also played. However, in saying that, it is still a pretty simple course, so I am going to be putting this one in the C tier. One thing that probably would have got it up slightly for me if the Angry Sun was actually chasing you around as well. That would have been damn dope. The second track on the list, of course, is Shy Guy Bazaar. This course has honestly got probably one of the best glides I've seen in my life. I love the theming here as well, especially getting to see Daisy's Palace in the background as well, and even getting to drive it on certain variants too. It is dope. There are so many different alternative routes you can take now, like for example at the very start by going on the rails and going over the castle gates and then basically bypassing the entire market, or around the gliding section going on the rails and taking the left route, and just so many in the market as well. This course has so many different routes and just verticality. It is honestly fantastic. And the theming as well with the elephants and just all being kind of Arabic marketplace. It's just standard Shy Guy Bazaar, which I absolutely love. It just feels really royal now, and I love it. I also love all the techie stuff you can do as well. There are some serious shortcuts, and mastering this track is going to make a massive difference online. This one's going straight into the S tier for me. Then we have N64 Wario Stadium. This is the course that probably made people very nervous when it first got announced because, let's be completely honest, the entire middle section is essentially missing. However, I am extremely happy to report that I absolutely love this track. If you are very technical at this game, you're going to love it. You can grind on the wall pretty much everywhere to cut time. There's also heaps of gap cuts as well that you can do, and I just love the absolute theming of this as well. The only thing that this track is honestly missing is just Wario's face is plastered all over it like the original. But honestly, I don't know how you can hate this track. I've seen some of the YouTubers that play this track online, and of course looked at time trials as well, and this thing is damn dope. Especially the bridge at the end too, it's amazing. If you get good at this track, it's going to make a huge difference. Believe it or not, N64 Wario Stadium for me as well is going straight into the S tier. I am going to put it slightly below Shy Guy Bazaar, however, I just can't not put it here. I have so much damn fun on this track. And the last track that we have in this cup, of course, is Airship Fortress. I guarantee everyone that wanted this track in the Booster Course Pass is probably so happy it didn't get in there, because Mario Kart World does this track extremely well. It's essentially just Airship Fortress as per the normal version. Nothing's changed too much. However, all the other technical stuff you can do in this track now, are the rail grinding, etc., just gives this track so much more life. pretty much the start of the course, you want to just ride all the rails around just to save some time and get out of the danger zone. I never thought I'd be doing that for Airship Fortress, but man, it plays really good. I especially love the theming for this track now. It actually feels like there's a genuine war going on around you, and I also love how they brought back the dark purple sky as well. This track is really good, and that shouldn't be a surprise because Airship Fortress has always been really good. This one as well is going straight into the S tier for me, and I'm gonna put it just below Guy Bazaar. And by the way, I'm not just giving out S tiers for the sake of it, I genuinely think these 3 tracks are S tier. Now it's time to move on to the Star Cup, and again, this cup as a whole was pretty damn good as well. It's essentially just all the story tracks, and then you got Wario Shipyard at the end, but theming wise, it goes pretty damn hard. The first track, of course, we do get to play is DK Pass, and this realistically feels like DK Summit now, just with how it all plays out and also looked. It's a massive ski resort, which I really rate. I especially love the ending sequence too, where you get to go down the slopes now, and you get to see all the Shy Guys just absolutely shredding it up on the snow. There's also some really cool gap jumps you can do as well if you are a techie player, like jumping off just before the DK sign around the bend, and then just cutting some time there too, and just all the little off routes you can take too through the snow. The theming here is seriously on point. DK Pass has always been a really good track, but in my personal opinion, this is without a doubt the best version of it it's ever had. I'm talking theming wise, the way it plays, and just everything else as well. Despite that, I am going to be placing DK Pass in the B tier, just below its brother DK Spaceport. I do think there are a lot of better tracks in this game than this in particular. However, that doesn't take away how much enjoyment I get out of this track. It's seriously pretty good. The second track we have in the Star Cup, of course, is Starview Peak. This course looks absolutely gorgeous. I love when you enter it, you have all the lumas and you enter the observatory straight away. The theming here is pretty much spot on. You genuinely feel like you're just somewhere pretty damn royal and also a little bit unusual. The track itself though, I'm not too sure if I enjoy it as much as other people. It almost feels like it kind of wants to be Rainbow Road, but it's just not. Which I guess makes sense because it's not quite outer space, but I don't even know where it is. The thing that probably lets this track down for me in particular is just when you enter the long straightaway kind of vibe. Just with the blue road and a few star dash panels you can take. It doesn't feel that entertaining for me personally, but I can see why people do like it. Theming wise, as I said before, absolutely nails it, but from what I've seen just from gameplay as well, there isn't too much technical stuff you can do, or too many different alternative routes, so I am going to be placing this one in the D tier. Then we have our GOAT Sky High Sundae. I never thought I'd ever be excited to race on Sky High Sundae, but honestly, I am choosing this course when it comes up online a hell of a lot. This track not only looks beautiful like always, but it races amazing now online. There's so many different alternative paths you can take. There's some really cool gap jumps, like for example the one at the end where you start riding on the wall and just of course cut through a bunch of time, but also just all the different routes you can take as well. Like at the start you can go right on the grind rail, or you can just take the glider ramp like normal and go down. Then there's a bunch of walls you can jump on pretty much everywhere, and just the theming as well, which they've always nailed it for Sky High Sundae, is just honestly phenomenal. I am sorry for anything bad that I said about Sky High Sundae in the past. This has certainly made up for it. Sky High Sundae for me is going to go in the A tier, just below Whistlestop Summit. Then the final track that we have in the Star Cup is Wario's Galleon, or Wario Shipyard depending on where you live. This track for me has always been really good, even the underwater sections, which I wasn't that big of a fan of in past games, but not to worry because there is no underwater driving anymore, so you're literally driving on top of the waves and getting trick boosts. This course's theming is absolutely gorgeous. It essentially feels like you're exploring a haunted ghost ship, or essentially just a shipwreck graveyard or something like that, but it honestly nails it. There are so many places where you can get additional speed as well by cutting through certain sections, just like the sand everywhere for example, and I love the ending section as well, how you can go on the actual ship mast and then just start grinding on them and just cutting time. So in my personal opinion, this is the best way you can ever race the Wario Shipyard, even better than the original. So for that, I just have to give it props. And again, how good does this course look, man? There's honestly not too much negative things I can say about it. They essentially kept the heart of this track alive, even by including all the warp parts that used to blow air out from the originals. They're all just grayed out. I honestly can't say anything too bad about this track. It's really good. Wario Shipyard for me in particular is going to go into the A tier, just below Sky High Sundae. Alright, let's move on to the Shell Cup. I hate to say this, but the Shell Cup in my opinion isn't the strongest one in the game by a mile. However, I do still have a lot of fun with this cup in saying that. Like I said at the start, I don't really hate any track in this game. There's just some that are much better than others. Kicking off the Shell Cup, we of course have SNES Koopa Troopa Beach. Let's start with the positives. This course looks the best it's ever looked in the past, and I love the DJ Koopa at the very start on the starting line banner, and just how this course looks overall. As you'd imagine, it's pretty damn stunning. I really want to visit this location in real life. Gameplay wise, it's literally just a loop. You know how we're talking about Sky High Sundae before? Well, this is the original Sky High Sundae if it was dumbed down even further. There's not much going on here. There's a few areas you can cut through with grass, but that's essentially it. And there's a cheap tip as well that just is there to, I guess, try to hit you. I can't really say anything too positive about this course aside from how it looks. I mean, I like the water shooting in from the sides. That's kind of nice, and the shells up in the air and all the surfboards around, but that's me really stretching essentially. I still enjoy racing on it, but it is pretty boring. There's not too much techie stuff you can do. So in that regards, I am unfortunately going to be putting it in the F tier. I'm sorry for any SNES fans. I'm sure it's pretty similar to the original, but yeah, it's unfortunate. Next up, we have Faraway Oasis. This is actually a course that I was probably looking forward to the most from the new tracks when I first saw any gameplay. And it is unfortunate because a lot of that stuff that I did see was actually in the intermission sections before the course actually does take off. The course itself is pretty damn cool with a few alternative routes you can take, like going up on the boardwalk or taking the water down below. And there's also a few technical stuff you can do, like riding on a few rails or just cutting through some grass. However, it's probably not the most exciting track to race on. I would have loved to see some of that wild animal life just actually going through the course and making it a little bit more difficult to actually go through. However, it's not a bad course. I especially love the way this actually looks, in particular the waterfall section at the end, which has gotten me a few times by, I don't know how, but it's got me done. So that's always nice to have a little bit of a challenge there. But overall, it's a pretty simple track with not too much going on. So yeah, I hate to do this, but
Faraway Oasis is going to go on the C tier for me, just below Desert Hills.
if it was included in the intermissions, it'd probably be a lot higher. Next up is another variant of Crown City. I'm going to call it Crown City 2 because it makes the most sense. This track before it actually kicks off with the intermissions on the bridge is probably arguably my favorite intermission of the entire game, or section, whatever you want to call it. The track itself is actually, in my opinion, a shell of Crown City 1. It's long straightaways on just normal roads with a few rails you can grind in the middle. It kind of feels like the back alleys of Crown City, but one thing I do like in particular is just being able to take the half pipe in the middle of the course. And I also like how you can go on some of the roofs as well in that section too by grinding, so I guess it does have some merit. I don't think the track is bad, and I like the grind rails that are kind of placed around everywhere. And I also really like the setting as well.
If this track was the variation you got to play in the Versus mode, with Crown City 1 and 2 combined with some extra elements too, this track would honestly be like A tier. However, for just Crown City 2, I am going to be putting it in the C tier, just below Desert Hills.
Then the final track that we have in the Shell Cup is actually Peach Stadium 1. Spoiler alert, this is nothing compared to Peach Stadium 2. It's pretty damn short, and it almost kind of feels like a loop with not too much going on. There's no real shortcuts you can take or any way you can grind rail to just kind of save a lot of time.
Aside from the feather shortcut, of course, which is really nice to pull off.
It's a lot of straightaways and just main roads. The theming's pretty cool, kind of being a Peach Stadium kind of vibe, but that's kind of it. It's also pretty short too, so yeah. I'm not too big a fan of this course, but the good thing is it does get to redeem itself later on, so I'll give it that. This one for me is going to actually go in the D tier. And with that, that brings us to halfway through the video. While I've somewhat got your attention at this point in time, if you are enjoying the content, it'd be really appreciated if you could leave a like and also subscribe. And also feel free to join the Swift Cafe Discord, where I actually do a lot of my Mario Kart gameplay, which is where I form the build videos. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure to join the Discord. But that's enough of that good stuff. Let's get into the Banana Cup, because this one is damn epic. The first track in this cup is actually a double dash track, which if you didn't know is my favorite Mario Kart game in the entire series, and this is actually Peach Beach. This track got a massive facelift, not just in how it looks, but actually how it all plays out now. Lap 1 sends you through the normal route of Peach Beach. You go past the fountain, then you slowly go down towards the beach where you can take two different routes, the one on the left being a boardwalk which takes you through the water, and the right side of course takes you where the cataquacks are by the sand. The time no longer actually changes like the original, and it has kind of lost its Island Delfino vibe as well, but it's still pretty familiar to be completely honest. I also really like on the right hand side where the sand is, you of course now can use that ramp as a half pipe, which is a small little change, but I do appreciate it. Lap 2 is where the fun kind of begins. You almost go through this like Peach kind of castle kind of vibe, which has a few nice little market stalls and whatnot, with different paths you can take as well. You can go on top of the buildings or down below and grind on a few rails. It's just really cool. It almost reminds me of France in some regards. I really like the gliding section down as well, where you go in between the buildings and you can take the grind rails and all that good stuff before you eventually hit the water again as well. I never thought Peach Beach would have ever got this segment track kind of treatment, but hey, it's pretty damn cool. And again, I like all the different paths you can take, like going on to where the boxes are when you hit the water again, or going over the speed boost ramp and just taking the water. Then of course you have Shy Guys and jet skis, which is also dope, before you head back to the start to essentially do it all over again, but not really because the race ends. It's a really modern approach to Peach Beach, which is actually something I really appreciate. I think having 3 laps on this course in Mario Kart World would have been a little bit boring, so I'm actually really happy with how they changed this one up. I'm going to be putting Peach Beach at the very bottom in the A tier. Second track in this cup is actually Salty Speedway. This is a course I was pretty damn excited to play when I first saw it. I love all the different alternative routes you can take in the middle section, where you can go on the water or essentially the rooftops. And there's just so much technical stuff you can do as well, the grind rails like shortcuts and just gap jumps and all that good stuff as well. The theming of this course also looks really beautiful. It essentially takes that Peach Beach vibe and just ups it slightly. In particular, I really like the canal section too. This is really how I wanted Amsterdam Drift to look in the booster course pass. This track is seriously solid. I'm going to be placing this one at the very bottom of the S tier. It's seriously that good. The fun really doesn't stop there, because the next track is one of my favorite tracks of all time, of course being Dino Jungle. And I was a little bit hesitant at first before I did my analysis on this course. However, after playing it, it just feels like Dino Jungle, but just so much better. I really like how this track now looks. It honestly just feels like Jurassic Park, and I'm all for it. All the technical stuff you can do in this track as well, like grinding on the rails and going off the dinosaurs to get speed boost, and essentially just cut a lot of time during time trials, is really fun. It is really hard to pull off, but I really do enjoy it. There's essentially grind rails everywhere you look, and the cave section has gotten a really modern glow up. I like how you can go on the walls and then go on the top section, or you can just stay on the bottom route and just cut through the shortcut section on the right hand side, just to try to get ahead of the pack. I also love how alive this track feels now, just all the dinosaurs running around, especially the T-Rex, who actually feels like a genuine threat this time. And yeah, this track is essentially just Dino Jungle that we all remembered it, but just so much better. This track for me is going to go on the S tier,
and it's going to go just below Shy Guy Bazaar.
The last track in this cup is one that I was also very excited to get my little grubby hands on. Not only because it looks really good, because from all the trailers and all the footage that we saw in the gameplay stuff before the game actually came out, this looked like it could be honestly really technical, not just for like a really high-end Mario Kart player, but also just for an average person as well. And that thinking was not wrong at all. The gap jumps you can do in this and all the shortcuts you can do is honestly phenomenal. If you know how to race this track really good, and you don't get hit by a bunch of items while doing so, you're gonna fly through this track really fast. You can essentially wall ride on every single thing that you see, and pretty much jump across everything you see as well. It also looks really good, and the music sounds really good too. And there's so many different alternative paths you can take that you almost feel like you can do whatever you want. You can change up your strategy all the time. This is arguably one of the best ever designed Mario Kart tracks of all time, and this is going at the very top of the S tier for me. Seriously, the Banana Cup is goated. And the good thing is, the Leaf Cup, which is next, is just as good as well. Starting off the Leaf Cup, we have Cheap Falls. Let's just get this out of the way at the very start. This course looks absolutely gorgeous. It's got all the maple leaves just around the course. It's got a real strong Japanese vibe to it. It just feels super peaceful to race through. And the race itself is really fun to actually play on. I love the section with the waterfall with the Cheeps going up it and going underneath it. It's just so cool. You can essentially just get tricks off every little thing that you jump off, like the waves and going onto the little branches on the water as well. And there's a lot of little gaps you can cut through too. It's just a really fun, fast-paced course. I've seen some really pro people race on this already, and the stuff they're doing on it is pretty damn dope to see. there isn't any real split paths or any of that kind of stuff. And I'm not just saying it because this course looks so damn good, but it hasn't taken away from the experience of me personally. It's also a really good bagging track as well. Cheap Cheap Falls is going to go on the A tier for me personally, and I'm going to put it at the very bottom of the A tier. Dandelion Depths is also a track that I was really looking forward to playing, just because of how gorgeous that cave section looked. The track itself to race on is really fun. I especially love just before going through the cave section, you can take the bottom route or you can take the top route, and then getting to drive over all the water and then just seeing all the parabiddy bugs flying around is really cool, and of course all the dandelions just floating in the sky. The up top section as well is also really fun to just drive across. There's a few rails for you to grind and a few little gaps as well if you are good enough. Again, it's probably not the most technical track out of all of them, but it still is a lot of fun to drive on, especially going on the wall and trying to go on the top section before you enter the cave. Dandelion Depths for me is going to go on the A tier, just above Cheap Cheap Falls. Boost Cinema is the third track in this cup, and in terms of theming, this is arguably one of the most gorgeous haunted tracks of all time in Mario Kart. Just the old school kind of 1950s vibe or wherever it's from is really cool. The track itself isn't that technical to race on, pretty much the same with the other courses in this cup so far, but it's still a lot of damn fun, especially getting to drive through the actual movie screen itself, then getting to enter the old school movie. That stuff is really fun. There's also a few rails you can grind onto, and a few little shortcuts if you're good enough as well. It doesn't quite hold up driving wise, but like I said before, the vibes of this track is just immaculate.
This one for me is going to go on the C tier, and I'm going to put it just below Desert Hills.
The final track in this cup is actually Dry Bones Burnout, and that's how I'm kind of feeling right now in my voice because I just came off being sick, but I really just love talking about Mario Kart, so we're going to go through this. This track I actually wasn't keen for at all, only because I'm not that big of a fan of lava courses. However, this track is a hell of a lot of fun, and also relatively challenging as well. I love all the split paths you can take, especially when going off the gliding section and going to the massive dry bone skull. I still don't know what the best path is to take here, by the way, so let me know in the comments what it is. And I just love how you can pretty much grind on everything and anything that you see. And the wall riding's pretty fun here as well. I also really like how you can actually cut through the lava now if you've got a mushroom, or even other kind of items as well. But just due to this track's actual difficulty, and then all the different split paths and all the technical stuff you can do as well,
I'm actually going to put this track in the S tier, just below Dino Jungle.
which is a massive compliment because I was not expecting to like this course. This actually takes us to the final cup of the base game. Spoiler alert, just before you unlock the special cup, and this is actually a really fun cup, of course being the Lightning Cup. You actually start the Lightning Cup off with Moo Moo Meadows, which is arguably one of the most weirdest placements for a Lightning Cup track, but I'm going to ignore that here and just talk about Moo Moo Meadows. This is exactly how you remembered it from back in the Wii, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and also Mario Kart 8. It's always going to be a lot of fun, especially using the cow to race on this. This is probably the best Moo Moo Meadows has ever looked, and I really like the added details of being able to grind on the different kind of fences now, and like always, just cut through all the grass that you can always do. The course is pretty reminiscent of the original, but I do like the added details just of like the hay bags rolling down, and just how good this course looks now as well, just with the entire world around it. This is one of my favorite places to explore in the free roam. Gameplay wise, it pretty much runs exactly how I did in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and also Mario Kart Wii as well, just feels a lot wider. You can't really complain too much about Moo Moo Meadows though, so I don't have anything negative to say. This one for me is going to go in the B tier, just above Faraway Oasis. Next up, we have another track that everyone was losing their damn minds over before we got to race on it. This of course being Choco Mountain. This looks nothing like the original Choco Mountain, however, it actually races almost identically. Spoiler alert, I've always loved Choco Mountain, and this rendition is nothing different. I love all the different elevation changes now and all the kind of oil that's spilled on the track too, which I'm still not sure if it's oil, it could be mud, I have no idea. But I love how you can cut through it now with a mushroom for a lot of shortcut gaps. The tunnel section as well feels a lot more industrial with charging chunks kicking the footies around, and I love how you can ride on all the different walls now too. This track is just essentially Choco Mountain, so if you liked it back in the day, you're gonna like it again now. It does feel weird that this course feels a lot wider around the actual bend of where the boulders are coming down. However, the ending section is just so damn glorious and it feels so much more epic this time around. It's just a really good track. So this one's going to go on the A tier for me,
just below Sky High Sundae.
Next up is the fan favorite Toad's Factory. And again, if you liked it in Mario Kart Wii, you're going to absolutely love it here. This one feels almost identical theming wise, but I love the added details that just makes this course a little bit different. There's a bunch of grind rails now essentially everywhere inside the factory itself, but my favorite one is actually probably when you exit the factory and you can just go up these little steel beams for a shortcut, which actually saves a fair bit of time if you don't have a mushroom to cut through the dirt. I mean, what can't I say about Toad's Factory? This course has always been goated. It's literally where the item boxes are created, but it just looks so damn good in this game. Especially being able to free roam this in the open world and then explore every little detail you can find. And also getting to race this in nighttime. I don't know why, but I always wanted to do that as a kid, and getting to do this now is just so damn cool. Especially seeing everything in the factory so lit up. Toad's Factory is always goated. This is going straight in the S tier for me.
Just below Salty Speedway.
Alright, the last track in this cup should come as no surprise. We of course have this game's version of Bowser's Castle. Look, I'm gonna be completely real with you all. I'm not that big of a fan of Bowser's Castle tracks in general. Mostly due to its lava type theming, and also being a kid, I wasn't that great at Mario Kart, so I kinda sucked, so it always left a bad taste in my mouth. However, this track in Mario Kart World is a technical masterpiece. You can trick and grind off so many different things and get so many shortcuts, it is honestly ridiculous. If you master this course, it's going to be hard to beat you online, unless of course you get hit by items, which always happens to me. However, it just feels so damn cool. Theming wise as well, it actually really kind of takes a step back from that lava theme. I mean, it's still there and present everywhere, but it's more than that. It's almost like a real modern industrial kind of construction zone. It feels evil, but it just feels so damn good to race on. But I really need to emphasize how good this track is to race on, especially the shortcuts. Like, I know I've already said that, but damn, this thing is really cool. You know, I really like this track when I'm putting a Bowser's Castle track in the S tier. As I mentioned before, in very typical Mario Kart fashion, we of course have an unlockable cup being the Special Cup. And you know what? It is relatively special for the most part. The first track in this cup actually leaves a really good taste in your mouth. This of course being Acorn Heights. When I first saw this track, I was very excited to play it because I loved Wild Woods in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Mario Kart 8, and this essentially feels like its brother. The theming is absolutely spot on. There's a lot of technical stuff you can do, a lot of speed boosts everywhere, and a lot of different separate paths you can take as well. And of course, a lot of things to grind on, which is really hard to master at some points, which is the best route. I also like how it kind of feels a bit like Mushroom Gorge with all the bouncing mushrooms around, the leaves you can trick off, and I love all the little off-road sections as well that you can take too. My favorite section though, without a doubt, is the final section, just where there's a lot of massive acorns rolling down the hills, and you can take several different routes to get back to the starting line. You can go up the hill as per normal, you can go on the far left or right hand side to avoid the acorns as they're coming down, or you can even take the vines to just go through it like a madman. I love how you can have different options in a Mario Kart track, and this one nails it. This track's actually gonna go in the S tier for me. The next track we have is actually a pretty weird choice. We have Mario Circuit again, of course from the Super Nintendo. This admittedly is probably the best Mario Circuit has ever looked at any Mario Kart game, and I really love how it's connected to the open world and actually feels like a Formula 1 track or just a racing track in general. It's pretty damn cool. It plays exactly like how Mario Circuit always plays, pretty fast, a lot of sharp turns, a lot of off-road sections of course you can cut through with a mushroom to get a massive advantage. I'm not going to say anything too negative about it, it's just fun to race on. And driving through this in free roam is really cool as well. I am however going to be placing this one in the C tier, and in saying that, I am going to be putting it at the very bottom. But don't take anything away from this track, it's still a lot of fun. The third track of the Special Cup is actually Peach Stadium 2. I really wish this was my first impression of this track, because this version is honestly pretty damn epic. You start off by actually going through the castle itself, and you get to see the big Peach stained glass window in the background with a nice little gap that you can cut through with a mushroom. Then it essentially takes the Mario Kart circuit approach and stadium approach from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where there's a lot of elevation, which I can guarantee you if it was an 8 Deluxe would all be anti-gravity. And I really like this section with all the warp parts you have to dodge and the nice little gap jump you can do when going down in like a U-turn kind of format. It's not the best track in the world, but it's a hell of a difference from the first version. I'm gonna place Peach Stadium 2 in the B tier, and the last track in the Special Cup, you guessed it, is Rainbow Road. This is freaking amazing. You of course start at the very back of Peach Stadium, and you make your way up all this water and you go through a gliding ramp through the sky that's all rainbow lit up. It just feels really cool to do. Then once you get into Rainbow Road itself, you see how freaking long it is, but it's not a bad thing. I think it goes for like 4 to 5 minutes, which is absolutely insane. However, it's a lot of fun to race on. I do fear in a lot of time though, people are going to say this track's too long. However, right now, I'm really enjoying it. So That's the main thing. In terms of a Rainbow Road, it doesn't feel that difficult, but just the overall aesthetic really carries this course for me personally. Of course, due to this track's length as well, there's only one massive lap around the entire thing, based of course in different sections. The first section feels like your typical Rainbow Road just up in the sky, where the second segment really reminds me of Paper Mario 64 Starway, and I really like this. It just feels so magical. Just before you head back onto the road as well and actually get to see this mystical train flying around too, it's pretty damn dope. The fourth section almost feels like a space station, which is how Mario Kart 8 Deluxe should have done this Rainbow Road, and there's a few nice little gap cups you can do there as well with the ramp, and a few different paths you can take as well. In general, there's a lot of different paths you can take on this Rainbow Road. It's really cool. And the final section as well just feels really magical. You have the train flowing around, you have of course the Rainbow Road itself, and there's just a lot of sharp turns as well, which is just really cool to race through. Look, it's probably not my favorite Rainbow Road of all time, but I can't deny it's just a phenomenal one, and it really caps off a grand adventure. I just wish you could explore this in free roam. That would be freaking awesome.
Rainbow Road for me is going to go at the very bottom of the S tier.
I just wish the roads were just slightly narrower, just to make this course feel a little bit more difficult, because that's what I honestly play Rainbow Road for. And with that, that has been me ranking every single track in Mario Kart World. Let me know down in the comments section if you agree with me or disagree with me. Again, I could honestly see my opinion changing after playing this a little bit more, but I really just wanted to get my early thoughts out there. If you did of course enjoy this video, it would be super appreciated if you could leave a like, comment, and of course subscribe, as it honestly really helps out the channel a lot. I also plan on doing a lot more rankings for this game as time goes on, but until next time, make sure to take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video. See ya!